11 o'clock, welcome back in. We are live at Social Taco here in Homewood. The doors are open. Join us on a beautiful Tuesday as we enjoy the Mix and Match Taco Tuesday. The quesadillas, the burritos, the bowls, the salads. If you just want to go with a starter, maybe a cold cerveza or one of those award-winning margaritas, you can do it here at Social Taco, socialtaco.bar for more information. And always remind you about our friends at Mandu, right down the street. But Paul and his gang, they've got something revolutionary. It's boutique fitness at its finest. You want to feel better. Now the warmer months, it means less clothes. You want to be looking and feeling your best. You can do it with Mandu. It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. All FDA approved. It does not hurt. But the best part about it all, I've done it, 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes. It's a 15-minute workout because of that technology. The 15 minutes at Mandu is the equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. I promise you, if you stick with Mandu, you're going to get results. Your first visit's free. They'll put you through that 15-minute workout. It's simple. MANDUU.com. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from Jock sent you.
Top of the fifth in Hoover, Alabama. Mizzou's got a runner in scoring position. It's 2-2 tied between the 16 seed Missouri Tigers and the 9 seed, the Ole Miss Rebels. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, good friend of the program. You can hear him afternoons down in the boot in the great state of Louisiana, 97.7 FM Sports Talk. Sean Fox joins us now on Three-Man Front. Sean, I hope you're well. Miss you here in Hoover, getting ready for a little LSU baseball later, right?
Yeah.
Well, you need a lot of margaritas to get through LSU baseball this year, guys. So it's probably the reason I don't know if I'd be conscious if I went to Hoover to try to watch the Tigers this year. It's to say it's been a disappointing athletic season for LSU in the big three sports would be an understatement. Usually the saving grace is baseball, but not the case this year.
What kind of buzz are you getting down there after Will Wade has gone and found a player that most people thought was done?
We're all getting Rosetta Stone to learn how to pronounce a bunch of different names and languages because, I mean, he all jokes aside, he did go out and get an international, professional team. I guess he was sneaky like a fox, no pun intended, in putting this roster together. I really don't think it's a coincidence the way this thing was built. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, he missed, and he's desperate. In fact, CBS Sports had an article kind of suggesting that. I don't think that was the case. I think everything that Will Wade has done was by design, and it'll be interesting to see because we are in that slippery slope, or that gray area is probably a better term, between professional and college. From an LSU fan's perspective, you're like, yeah, I love this. From just a fan of college athletics, I'm also like, how weird is it when you see the on-3 commitments and you see all the different transfers and you see college logos and professional logos on the same line? It's like something is inherently wrong here.
All right, so this morning the big news, CBS Sports is reporting that Will Wade has signed the former Big East Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
He played for the Utah Jazz and the Boston Celtics, also the Celtics G League, and we're talking about R.J. Luis. He is joining Will Wade's roster. And the other player, the EuroLeague star, help me with his name. Is it Yam Madar?
Yeah.
Yam Madar.
Again, as I told you, we're going
to – okay.
Guys, I live in Louisiana. We have enough time trying to pronounce our own cities and names here. You're going to try to ask me to pronounce guys from Italy and Israel? Come on, give me a break.
What's the city down there? It's Tiba DXX. What is it?
Close enough.
Thibodeau.
Chapatoulis. It's all the same. Opelousas. Yeah, Thibodeau.
Now the Israeli basketball kid, not kid, I should say, he's 26 years old.
He's a grown man. Yeah. He's
kids.
With 3 kids.
I mean, he's a EuroLeague star, right? I mean, that's where he came from, right?
No, I mean, he's a legit professional player, and that's probably the best league outside of the NBA. Is the league that he's coming from. I mean, these are legit men. Will Wade's not going to the court. I almost said war, probably not the appropriate way to put it, but he's not going to play this year with a bunch of 17 and 18-year-old kids. He is going with grown men with families. I mean, I think the average roster age is probably going to be about 22, 23 years old, and again, as an LSU fan, you're like, well, you should be pretty good this year. I'm conflicted because as a overall picture of college athletics, I just don't like where we are. But these are the rules. This is the game, and might not like it. They're not doing anything wrong either.
All right, so I do have to ask this, and you may not know this, so I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I am curious. obviously, I understand that there's an eligibility issue that is going to have to be addressed with R.J. Luis because it is very similar to Charles Bediako, okay?
Yep.
I understand that. But what about this EuroLeague star? Is he good to go based on, just like, we've seen countless other European stars. Auburn had one this last year. Is he already good, or does he got to go through some type of process like R.J. Luis?
I've heard not 100%, but I've heard he's got to go through the process as well. Again, this is that gray area that we're in right now, where there's been cases similar to these where guys did not get eligibility, but it seems to be on a case-to-case basis on what the NCAA decides to rule.
Okay, and again, I was not meaning to put you on the spot.
No.
I was just curious because based on what I've read, it seemed like both individuals would have to go through that same eligibility
I'm hearing
process.
similar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So is this Yam guy? The new guy that they got.
The
$5
Israel
million.
guy, the Italian guy,
Slam
the
bam,
Spanish
thank
guy.
you, Yam.
Okay.
That is going to be
it.
the chant. Slam bam, thank you, Yam. Is he making more money than Will Wade?
Probably close to it. And like I was talking to somebody the other day. It's really interesting how again they made this roster up where, and everybody's like, are they getting desperate with this money? Like I think they're only paying of the 15-man, let's say 14 to 15-man roster. I think they're only paying 8 or 9 guys significant money. Like Will Wade pretty much said that in an interview with a Baton Rouge TV station about a week ago. He goes, look, we're only going to have about 8 or 9 guys who are going to play anyway. Those are the guys they're paying. So I would not be surprised if LSU's starting 5 made between $1 to $4 million. Would not surprise me. I'm talking about not as a roster. I'm talking about per player.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people say this Israeli player is making between $4 and $5 million.
I've heard 5. Yeah. But I've heard that too. But then you also hear people go, well, the money that you hear thrown out when it comes to these figures isn't always the truth. So who really knows? Do I think he's making significant money? Yeah. Do I think he's probably making at least $3 to $4 million? I do. Is it 5? Possibly. But that's, again, it sounds insane, but that's the cost of doing business these days.
There's no question about it. Sean Fox joins us here on Three Man Front as we're talking some LSU athletics. All right, so next week, SEC spring meetings in Destin, Florida. This is going to be very interesting to see what takes place. I am curious if the commissioner will invoke Rule 10.5.2, which states coaches and administrators shall refrain from public criticism of other member institutions, their staffs, or players. Coaches and administrators shall also refrain from making public statements and accusations with regard to infractions concerning member institution and their personnel. Do you think the things that Lane Kiffin said about the Ole Miss Rebels and segregation, do you think that would be a way in which he might get cited and sanctioned by the SEC?
I mean, it kind of feels like the textbook definition of what you just read off. And I think you could probably throw not as bad, but Mr. Basket Weaving comments. The blows that Ole Miss was getting last week I felt were a bit unfair. But look, I mentioned this to my audience the other day. It will win or lose as long as Lane Kiffin is the head coach at LSU. What we do will never be boring. Like nothing's changed from the minute he has been hired to the comments made last week. I expect this to end 4, 5, hopefully 7 years from now in a huge dumpster fire because that's just been the MO.
Yep.
In the meantime, do I hope they get a couple of playoff bursts and a championship? Yep, that's all I ask. If he's going to go down, go out in a blaze of glory. I expect it to end badly. In the meantime, enjoy the roller coaster of a ride. I do think, and I've talked to enough people, you guys have to. Look, none of us can run from the history of not just Mississippi, of the South. When it comes to segregation, racism, it's not great, but it is part of the history. You learn from it. I know for pretty good idea. Do I think that Ole Miss has had to deal with those stereotypes in recruiting? Do I think Lane Kiffin had those conversations with people, with recruits? Absolutely I do. But I also understand, all jokes aside, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, why I would be offended by that, because that is something that you try to distance yourself from for so long, and it's insulting. And I don't think necessarily, and maybe it was Lane Kiffin's intention, that it kind of put everybody in Oxford and Mississippi under that category, and I don't think necessarily that was fair. But I think it would be naive to think that he didn't have conversation with some recruits. Do I think everybody that went and was recruited by Ole Miss had those conversations? No. But, yeah, of course some of those conversations took place.
What's been the reaction? You mentioned the folks that you deal with on a daily basis there, Sean, in Louisiana. I've got my suspicions about what some of the reaction was, but any that really surprised you that came from true LSU fans just based on those comments that he made in that Vanity Fair article?
Well, there's some who will be like, look, it's time to quit talking. But this is what you signed up when you got Lane Kiffin. That's never going to be the case. He's always going to talk. This is what he does. Some of it's good. Some of it's bad. They're always talking about you. There's some people who are tired of it, but there's other ones, listen. And we all inherently have our own biases. If it was anybody else, my God,
sure.
If it was the team in Tuscaloosa, people here would be losing their minds. Do we have a bias because it's here and it's LSU's coach? And maybe that's not big of a deal. I don't. And right now there's this. I got a buddy who owns a website called Louisiana versus All of Y'all. That's how I think it's appropriate.
Is that Pat
that's
Smith?
How it feels. Yeah,
that's a good
how
website.
It feels right now is because you've got a polarizing Kim Mulkey. You've got a polarizing Will Wade. You've got a polarizing Lane Kiffin. Lord knows if something happens to Jay Johnson. We talked about this before. The first call you make is to Tony Vitello. That's just LSU is in their villain era right now, and it just feels like everybody outside of this bubble is piling on LSU. Do I think some of it is deserved? Absolutely. Do I think a bit of it is too much? I also feel like that too. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the what happened last week. This falls under the definition of self-inflicted wound.
Now, I want to go back to something you said earlier, and this is not trying to be argumentative. I would just honestly like I mean, you're very level-headed. I've been on your show numerous times. You've been on this show numerous times. I've listened to your show. You do a great job.
You're great.
I am curious, though.
I try. Yeah.
With the statements that were made by Steve Sarkisian and the statement that was made in the Vanity Fair article by Lane Kiffin, who, to his credit, he tried to walk that back a little bit over the next day or two. If you're the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, what do you do? Is that a private phone call? Do you literally cite them in front of the media next week in Destin? Because I know how former commissioners handled things internally. I mean, what do you think is going on, or if anything has gone on to try to get these guys back in line?
I think it would have to, and I think it's probably already taken place behind the scenes. I think, and I could be completely wrong, and I'm wrong a lot, when they get to Destin and these things are asked, I'm sure Lane Kiffin will try to walk some stuff back. I think Greg Sankey will comment on as much as he would, but I don't think he's going to give you everything. I think these are things that have taken place on behind the scenes. They've had to have, because right now, I've heard this term thrown out, and I do think it's true. Right now, while the while the Big Ten seems to be running college athletics, the SEC feels like right now a reality show. This is like Real Housewives of the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
And this is part of it. And look, that's not what you want to be known for. You don't want to be known for the off-the-field stuff. You want to be known for dominating college athletics. And for a long time, you are. Now, guys, let me just throw this at you. You're talking about SEC SEC tournament in Hoover. All we've got left is baseball. God forbid, what happens if UCLA, which could happen, wins the national championship in baseball?
Stop it. Stop it, Sean.
What if? Like, this is we're talking about nightmare scenario this year for the SEC. So, yeah, it's time to get your house in order, and it's trying to cutting out things like we saw. Look, I love Lane Kiffin's hire. It's going to make my job so easy. I think he's going to win a lot of games. But sometimes you just go, why do you have to say what you do sometimes? And sometimes I wonder, is it a work or is it him just being an idiot? I really don't know. I feel like it's wrestling. It's like, is this a work? Are you doing this on purpose, or is this who you really are? I really can't tell. And maybe that's the art to Lane Kiffin.
What I don't think will be a work is September 19th when these fan bases get together. You know that LSU
Yes.
fan base,
Yes.
obviously where the Ole Miss fan base for the most part is right now. Do you think that it dies down before we get to that
No.
point, or do you think
No,
that
did
it
you-
could reach a disturbing level that we have not seen?
No, we joke around the entire time we're on with each other. We always do it. If I'm an LSU, God is my witness. I'm being honest about this.
Okay.
If I had a child playing, it's one thing. If I'm an LSU fan, I wouldn't be in the state of Mississippi that day. I think we're looking at one of the most toxic environments we've ever seen for a sporting event.
Same.
That's how bad it. I mean, guys, think about how ridiculous this was. Last week, the argument between the LSU and Ole Miss fan bases was who was more racist.
Yeah.
Think about that. How absurd that is. Who is the more racist school in state? It's completely unhealthy. It's only getting worse. And you saw an article by Outkick that says, Ole Miss has got a ton of bullets in the chamber. They haven't used them, ... yet. This isn't going to get better. This is only going to get worse. And look, I think the Iron Bowl is the best rivalry in college sports, but there's this healthy respect there. This is turning absurd and nasty, and I'd say I can't wait for it to get over with. It's stopped being fun a long time ago. Now it's insane, and I just don't think this is what college athletics and sports is supposed to be a distraction. Not this. This is going in the opposite direction. And again, I have to tell people all the time, I was like, guys, at the end of the day, this is just supposed to be entertainment.
Sean Fox, you can hear him this afternoon there, 97.7 FM Sports Talk, 97.7 there in Ruston, Louisiana. Sean, always great to catch up with you. I hate that you're not up here, as it might be a short stay for the LSU Bayou Bengals, but I will tell you this, and I compliment LSU fans, baseball fans, every single year at this tournament. I was out there for practice sessions yesterday afternoon, and there were tons of LSU people setting up their tents. They were driving around in their golf carts. They make this the event that it is, along with all these other great fan bases. But whether LSU is vying for a national championship in baseball, they show up in Hoover, and it is a really cool thing to see.
And they're going to show up in Omaha as well. You'll be looking behind the plate, and there's going to be a lot of purple and gold, which is, again, it's a testament to LSU fan base. Look, do I think LSU is going to last long? I don't. But let them win a game or two, and all of a sudden, Hoover's going to turn purple and gold again.
No, it should be a lot of fun. Hey, Sean, always great to catch up, man. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Tell Coach Mulkey I said hello. Stay strong.
Got it. See you later, y'all.
See ya. That is Sean Fox. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Some of the big takeaways from what Sean just told us, interesting. And now as we look ahead to that September 19th game, Ole Miss and LSU there in Oxford, it should be a doozy. We'll get to your reactions on the Jocks text line. We're live at Social Taco. Folks are filing in. We're up here in the top deck, the Taco Terrace, if you will, the Mix and Match Tacos. They got all kinds of different specials they're running throughout the day. Join us here in the square in Homewood. Three-man front. We continue on Jocks.
4 home runs have been hit at the Hoover Met already, and they're in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Mizzou, the 16 seed, they lead Ole Miss, the 9 seed, 7-2. Mizzou is putting the bat on the ball, and it is carrying a good bit there at the Hoover Met.
I'll be honest with you, Pat. We've watched a lot of baseball since we were much younger to now in this baseball tournament. I don't remember a 4 home run game.
It is. There was a 1 home run in the first. There was a home run in the second. There was a home run in the third, and then there was a home run in the 5th. So it is 7-2 as we speak. Ole Miss, 2 men out, runner at first.
So Missouri is doing their best Auburn softball right now in the opening round of the tournament. You don't play all season, but you show up when.
It is not double elimination. I've been having some people. That's why every team is in the SEC baseball tournament. Because if this was a double elimination tournament, we'd be here like 3 weeks doing this thing.
Forget Tom Hart getting the penthouse, the president's suite. That's when you go ahead and you get with the mortgage guy.
Yep. And one thing's for sure, Molly, around the Hoover Met, Big Whiskey's gives you a great alternative if you're looking for a great place to get something to eat before a game.
Yeah, and summer is officially here, so whether it's a date night or family time, everybody will love Big Whiskey's. Their full menu has something for everyone. They have a great outdoor patio with a putting green, and the game area is great for those summer evenings. You can go see them in their newest location off Highway 119 near 280, but if you're at the Hoover Met and you want to get some lunch, go see them in the Stadium Trace Village.
We were just talking to Sean Fox from Sports Talk 97.7 down in Ruston, Louisiana, about Will Wade. He is making waves. It took him a few weeks to do so, but he pulled off one of the biggest moves of the 2026-27 offseason. The Tigers have signed forward R.J. Luis. According to CBS Sports' Matt Zennis, Luis was the 2025 Big East Player of the Year. He signed with the Jazz as a two-way player, but he was traded to the Boston Celtics last season, and he was waived before the start of his professional career. Luis was initially assigned to the Celtics G League affiliate, but never actually played a game, and he was waived in early November. Prior to that, he had a 3-year player in college. He started his career at UMass. He then transferred to St. John's, where he played for Rick Pitino for 2 seasons. Averaged 18 points per game, 7 rebounds, shot 44% from the field, about 34% from the three-point range. He'll come to LSU as one of the most instant impact players in this transfer portal cycle. Now, there is an eligibility process he'll have to go through in order to play for the Tigers this season. Lawsuits will need to be filed, and eligibility status will need to be granted by a judge before this addition can become official. But Landrum, once again, it's the whole problem that we've been talking about, whether it was Charles Bediako, whether it was the player at Baylor that kind of got everything going. You got these G League guys and these players that sign these two-way contracts. They see a pathway, and you get in front of the right judge, you could play.
Yeah, and it's something that the NCAA, and I guess if it's not your guy and you're not trying to utilize the system, if you're a coach, you don't like it. But whether it's one of those guys and then it gets into the Eastern European and those leagues over there, and I realize that they are not in some cases equivalent to a pro league here, but there's only so many levels. When you got a guy that's playing for his national team, I would expect that guy is probably pretty good. A guy that has been playing maybe since they were 18, in some cases overseas 16, in competitive professional basketball. I thought it would be more of a point of contention, and maybe we'll get that in the offseason before the next season, but we heard so much about it. And I understand the argument for whatever Nate Oates was saying about Bediako and why some of these guys, if they've started overseas, why is it different there? But they got to get this figured out. This is going nowhere. And why would you not try to utilize the system if you're Will Wade?
Oh, no. I mean, it's the same thing that was said, what was going on with Nate Oates and Charles Bediako.
Right.
I mean, until the system is changed, you're going to continue to get these lawsuit after lawsuit. I just want to, I'm very curious. I mean, the SEC and Greg Sankey came out strongly against Bediako. I would assume that Greg Sankey will be asked a question in Destin, and hopefully he'll give the same type of strong answer he did, like he said it in an affidavit.
Take me back to the new eligibility clock. Now, does that pertain to the European player?
I believe so. I mean, it would be the clock would start whenever they graduated high school, or I guess the equivalent of whatever that would be overseas. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that it would be any different. So you got that situation going on with R.J. Luis, and they've also signed a 26-year-old Israeli EuroLeague star, Yam Madar. He is reportedly going to make between $4 and $5 million to play for Will Wade. 26 years old. You just heard Sean Fox say that the average age of the LSU basketball this team this year, 22, 23 years old? Now, Auburn's was 2 years ago, Final Four team, right?
Yeah.
They were, how old were they?
They were relatively old, right?
Like, I mean, what, 23?
Yeah.
20,
Average age, somewhere in there.
24?
Yeah, because you had bacon lasagna.
Yeah,
that was the offset.
He was 30.
But, yeah, that was a veteran team. That was at 23, average somewhere around there.
Yeah. Maybe not the oldest in college basketball, but definitely they trended towards that being a little bit older than everybody else.
Stephen Pearl and the Auburn Tigers, they just got Montes, the kid from Lithuania. So I'm reading in his bio. This kid, when he was 16 years old, debuted and scored his first points in the Premier Lithuanian Basketball League as a member of his hometown team. So a lot of these coaches utilizing overseas, I just wonder, and that's why I asked the question, because it seems like that time clock would effectively address this issue.
Yeah.
But if it's not applicable to the European player, then I feel like we've missed it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Abide Roofing is ready to assist you with a free, no-obligation roof inspection. If you're a homeowner or a business owner across central Alabama, even if you don't notice missing shingles, hail and heavy winds can create hidden damage that leads to costly leaks down the road. We got some heavy storms in the Birmingham metropolitan area last night. Maybe not some hail, but we did have some heavy winds. And so if you're worried about your roof or you think there might be some damage, call Travis Lloyd there at Abide Roofing, 205-577-7338, or simply go to their website, abideroof.com. They're also the insurance claim masters. They will be able to navigate the sometimes sticky process of dealing with adjusters and dealing with an insurance company. But let Travis Lloyd and all those guys handle the heavy lifting. That's what they did at my house. Got a brand new roof because they dealt with my insurance company and the work and the craftsmanship. I've never been more pleased with anything that has been done around my house, and you will be too. That's the guarantee there at Abide Roofing, 205-577-7338, abideroof.com.
I was trying to look up. There were some requests wondering where Chad Baker Mazzara was, and I'm seeing that he was chosen first overall in the 2026 Baloncesto Superior Nacional draft by the Carolina de Gigantics. I don't know. Gigantes de Carolina. But number one overall in the basketball league there. Baloncesto Superior National. So if you want to find him, you could probably find it on the same channel you find Live Golf. So go and search for it. 205-834-9450. The text line is open. We always appreciate those texts.
We will continue on. We are live here at Social Taco. A little bit of a rally going on in the bottom of the fifth inning. Rebels have the bases loaded. They're down 7-3, one run across, as the Rebels trying to overcome this big deficit against the 16-seed Missouri Tigers. We'll keep you updated from there. Top of the hour, we will talk some Auburn baseball. Jason Caldwell, he will be on the program, give us a preview of the tournament as the Tigers come in as the fifth seed here in the tournament. In Hoover, we'll talk to him coming up at the top of the hour, and also Dimitri Ravanos at 1. So plenty more to talk about here on Three Man Front.
11:34, three-man front. We're live in the terrace, the Taco Terrace. Mary is here, and that means we're still friends after her appearance in the Curiosity Crate yesterday. So she's still talking to us, Pat. That's good news. What is not good news, if you're a Missouri baseball fan and you were going ahead and telling the hotel where you're staying that it's good, you're going to go ahead and you're going to book another night. Hopefully you will anyways. You were leading 7-2 over Ole Miss in the opening game of the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover. It is now 7-6 as Ole Miss is still batting. And where are we, Pat? That would be the fifth inning, bottom of the fifth inning.
Bottom of the fifth. 7-6. Ole Miss got runners at second and third, 2 outs. So a double to right center with the bases loaded has now made it a one-run game.
That's really big. So we'll keep you updated on that. Of course, Auburn in action tomorrow. Alabama gets started on Thursday, and I know a lot of folks making their plans to go out and see, if not both, their respective teams. So everyone who is listening to us that is a fan of another school outside, and you typically don't get to hear us, welcome to Birmingham, welcome to Hoover, and we certainly hope you enjoy your time here.
Absolutely. 7-6 Mizzou with the lead. We'll talk to Jason Caldwell. Outstanding writer for Auburn Undercover, but this time of the year, he's the color analyst for Auburn baseball on the Auburn broadcasts.
I really enjoy Jason. He in his call of baseball, I told him that on the show last year. He doesn't get to do a ton of games, but very baseball knowledgeable, and he will be able to fill us in with that and any of the other missing points. Of course, he follows recruiting as well, and Auburn got a big recruit yesterday, maybe their most high-profile offensive lineman that they've had. I said since Sean Coleman, but it's been quite some time.
It is, and I was on Paul Feinbaum's show yesterday, and I brought that up, him going head-to-head with the likes of Notre Dame and Penn State. I mean, we're not talking about, going up against Georgia or Alabama. We're talking about this is more of a national type of deal for Golish to be able to go get one of the best offensive tackles in all of high school football. So good for Auburn and Alex Golish. It has been made official. Molly, how would you classify Nashville? Would you call it your hometown? You live there, you graduated high school, but you also live in Huntsville.
I consider it one of my hometowns because I've spent a significant part of my life there.
Okay. Well, it has just made official moments ago. The National Football League announces that the Super Bowl is coming to Nashville 2030.
Yes.
So Nashville will now be a Super Bowl city at the brand new Nissan Stadium.
Did you see where they've got a theme park that Nate Bargatze?
Is that real? Is that really going to happen?
I think it is. It's a $350 million project. And I guess that would replace what we had with Opryland, with that theme park there.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, where the Opryland used to be, I think there's already something. Is that where the Gaylord Hotel is?
Yeah, I don't know where the site's going to be, but I did see them. He was promoting his movie that's going to be coming out, but also I saw Nateland, and I thought, well, that's weird. Surely he's not that big. But yeah, apparently he is.
Roger Goodell announcing that Nashville will
have a theme park, maybe.
Will be home to the Super Bowl. It says the 2019 NFL Draft in Nashville was one of the greatest fan events in our history. Super Bowl at the new stadium is the next step in this remarkable football journey. That was NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell making the announcement that Nashville, Tennessee will host the Super Bowl in 2030.
I don't know how much you guys have seen about the new stadium, but have you seen how none of the seats are going to be, quote, nosebleeds?
That's awesome.
I think it's like a 38 or 30-something%. Like, they're going to be closer to the field, all the viewers or all the seats, because that's, been one of their big things is, we don't have nosebleeds in the new stadium. Everyone gets a great view, which I'm curious to see when it's built how that's going to look. Also, I think it's going to have the largest, I could be wrong, maybe the largest bar in the world, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Or rooftop bar. I remember seeing that the other day. It was the largest something at this stadium.
Well, it'll be very interesting if, and I know Atlanta is very near and dear to the SEC's heart, but if the SEC championship game continues, would Nashville ever throw their hat in the ring to host the SEC championship game?
I would think that would be potential. And then Atlanta in turn, do they say we want the basketball tournament? They just alternate maybe?
Okay,
Possibly.
it's going to be the largest rooftop bar in the country at the stadium.
Okay. But you said no nosebleed seats. I don't think Protective Stadium, there's not no nosebleeds there. I mean, from all the renderings that I've seen, there's going to be expanded concourses. You're going to have that retail and kind of what a lot of these ballparks are going to. But that's great news for the city of Nashville, and really good news that the Titans are going to have a fun place and a cool place to play. Hopefully they'll get better and start winning more football games, right?
Absolutely. Also wanted to congratulations to UAB baseball coach Casey Dunn. He was named the American Conference Coach of the Year.
Well deserved.
Absolutely.
Good job, Casey.
That was fantastic. And you're sitting there looking at two members, John Paul Head, the former quarterback at Vestavia Hills, who's done a really nice job in the outfield for UAB. He was named first team. Also, Max Price, he was named first team utility man. Also had some players that made the second team. Also, the all-freshman team had 3 Blazers on the team. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to be a naysayer here, but these 3 individuals that made the all-freshman team from UAB, you would love to see them play at UAB for a number of years, but we just know how this usually works.
Yeah, especially in baseball, you got to get creative. Even at the Power 4 level, you got to get creative. But, yeah, hopefully, but from what Casey's been able to do and continuing to be more than relevant, especially in a good baseball conference like the American, has been nothing short of impressive. So, well deserved.
Yeah, and it's
Casey's a heck of a coach.
Oh, he is, absolutely. And it's also cool because, and I know many of you may not follow a lot of college baseball or maybe get deep into the weeds with rosters, but one of the UAB Blazers that made the all-freshman team is Austin Pierzynski. And if that last name sounds familiar, his father is A.J. Pierzynski, who is on Fox Television. You can see him all over doing podcasts for Major League Baseball. He was a Cardinal. He was a long-time Chicago White Sox, but he was kind of wrapping up his career as a Cardinal. But, yeah, his son made the all-freshman team for the American Conference. So
that's wonderful.
Pretty cool.
That is really cool. Don't let the AC drift right out of your house. That's money you're losing. You can get new windows and doors to a local company, locally owned company, EcoView Windows and Doors. The owner's Becky Jackson. Becky, her husband, her son, they're all a part of the team, and these are folks that you can trust. And I tell you about that with other advertisers and folks that we tell you about. But that's why I deal with them, and that's why you should as well, because I know that you, the Great Jocks listeners, you're going to be treated right. No matter if they ever install a window or door at your home or your place of business, they're honest, hardworking folks that I know that most of our Jocks listeners, we can appreciate that. They can do the low-cost windows or they can do the glamorous. They've got a full array there. You can go to the website, ecoviewwindows.com. That's ecoviewwindows.com. It's a national brand, but locally owned, as I mentioned. They got a pledge. They're going to save you at least 35% on your heating and cooling in the first 12 months of installation. A lot of times, it's clockwork. It's a science, the precision. A lot of times they can take out your old windows, put in the new windows all in the same day. Check out all the line of not only windows but doors that they have as well. ecoviewwindows.com. Once again, all Jocks listeners get the free estimate. All you have to do is call Becky and her team, 205-564-8480, 205-564-8480, or go to ecoviewwindows.com. When you do so, tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
We are live at Social Taco. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk some Auburn baseball with Jason Caldwell. And now we've just had our 5th home run hit in Hoover as Mizzou now takes an 8-6 lead against the Ole Miss Rebels.
That is crazy.
It is a crazy day out at Hoover. Maybe this is a harbinger of things to come. It should be a very exciting SEC baseball tournament over the next few days. I'm
not speaking for anybody, but I know the amount of runs, the time it's taking to play these games, there might be a few people who are going, this isn't going to continue.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we're in the top of the 6th inning. We've had 14 runs scored and 5 home runs hit. Yikes. It's flying out of there today. Goodness.
There's something to be said for a pitcher's duel. When you're umpiring, when you're calling games, when you're spectating.
At least this crew gets it out of the way, and they get the rest of the day
That's right.
to rest
Go
up a
hang
little
out in
bit.
Tom Hart's suite.
But unfortunately, if you're the grounds crew at the Hoover Met, you're like going, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those nights.
This
And
is what we sign up for, boys.
pray for no rain tonight
Oh,
on top of these long games.
I was thinking about that last night. It was that heavy rain that I was getting at my house. Was it sitting over the Hoover Met? Place looks gorgeous.
It looked fantastic yesterday. You just cannot say enough what they continue to do incrementally, the improvements. You know, they did the parking lot a couple years ago, and just the chairback seating. Remember the outfield little pavilion that they have set up out in right field? Very cool. So we will keep you updated on a very lively and entertaining game at the Hoover Met. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, will join us at 12 noon. Dimitri Ravenos at 1. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks. It is 11:49. Welcome back. We're live at Social Taco here on Jocks. Come on by and see us. We've got room here on the Taco Terrace. Meanwhile, at the Hoover Met, Mizzou, they lead Ole Miss 8-6. Top of the sixth inning, 2 outs. Mizzou is the visiting team as they're the 16 seed in the tournament. Ole Miss, the 9 seed. Coming up at the top of the hour, we will talk to Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover, get a preview of the Auburn Tigers as they come to Hoover. They will play tomorrow. Meanwhile, Alabama will make its way to the Hoover Met on Thursday.
Text line is open, 205-834-9450. We take you there now. Robert is texting in the show. Robert says, I don't like the idea of single elimination in the SEC baseball tournament. It does not get teams ready for the NCAA tournament, which is double elimination. Last year, the SEC struggled in opening round despite LSU winning the national title. The SEC went to single-game conference tournament. I actually like it. I like it because it will save some of your pitching potentially for next week when it all matters. And at this point, Robert, with all due respect, they've played 50-something, 60-something games. I don't, unless you tell me who is winning the SEC baseball tournament championship, and you go year by year, I would not be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Just almost like the basketball championship, tournament championship has become for me. Just hard to keep up.
D1 baseball this morning, they had 12 of the 16 schools of the SEC in the NCAA tournament. 7 of the 12 regional sites are going to be hosted by SEC schools, including Alabama and the Tuscaloosa regional. They've got Bama, Jacksonville State, Arizona State, and Long Island. Meanwhile, the Auburn regional, it will be Auburn, Wake Forest, Louisiana, and North Florida. That would be in the Auburn regional. I tell you what, Jacksonville State's got a very good baseball team as they knocked off Auburn, a week and a half ago?
They beat them twice this season.
And they would be in Tuscaloosa. This Alabama baseball team, they've done it with pitching because they're 15th in the SEC in hitting. Not one of your better offensive teams, so you got to get good pitching. Meanwhile, Auburn's got a little bit of both. I mean, Auburn has got the 4th best batting average in the SEC and the number 1 ERA in the SEC. So they do it both ways.
You think both teams at least super regional worthy. And then
Yeah.
at that point, everybody's really, really good and anything can happen. More text rolling in. 205-834-9450. Michael asked, do you think a Louisiana judge is going to go against that kid to play basketball for LSU next year?
No.
Let's see. Another question on Chad Baker Mazzara. He's in the Baloncesto National Premier League. So I'm guessing he's somewhere in Spain, but can't tell you. You can go and find that maybe somewhere. Let's see. This one reads, serious question. Why is NIL talked about so much in a negative light, but nobody really asks about the massive influx of sports betting / gambling being promoted on official channels / stations? No, you're right. But it does make the world go round when it comes to budgets and quarterly budgets and hitting numbers. And that's the sacrifice. Have you seen it from ESPN, how they look at it? I used to read a liner. So I do work for the NCAA every year. And there are certain liners and reads that I'm responsible for. And what was most telling, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago when they used to have one that I would read, Pat, and it was a don'tbetonit.org. Used to read that a lot. That announcement has gone away. But maybe it should come back for some of the Brendan Sorsbys of the world that find themselves in a whole heap of trouble right now. Maybe not legally, but eligibility-wise, and potentially how this is going to impact him financially.
Now, individual schools, they accept alcohol advertising where states it is legal, whether it's DraftKings or FanDuel, somebody like that, or an Underdog Fantasy or Prize Picks where it's legal. They might have sponsorship with teams, but officially the NCAA, they have not embraced any of that.
No.
Whether it's fantasy games or official gambling, they have not. Matter of fact, with this expansion of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, they are now going to take certain advertising from alcohol and liquor companies. That will be the first time that that's ever been done.
Jake chiming in. He says, let me make sure I have this right. Bediako bad. What LSU doing? Good. Yeah. I don't think we said that.
Well, listen, we said what we did a second ago in regards to that. We don't think an Louisiana judge would go against these Will Wade players. But you had a judge in Knoxville, Tennessee go against Joey Aguilar, and you did have a judge in Tuscaloosa, Alabama go against Charles Bediako.
And you did have a judge in Durham, North Carolina, right? Was that the Mensa?
Mensa, yep. But you did have a judge in Small County, Mississippi.
A judge, you'd call him a saint.
Who gave Trinidad Chambliss a lifeline and a $6 million contract at Ole Miss. Yes, you heard me right, folks. $6 million is what he's getting paid.
Pittsboro, Mississippi.
$6 million to play quarterback at Ole Miss on the day of Archie Manning's birthday today. How about that?